I did used to do intermittent fasting when I was racing as a bicycle, but I found that actually the problem with the intermittent fasting for me was it was so effective at dropping weight that it was actually a bit of a problem with regard to power output. I noticed that because I had a power meter on my bicycle, and I noticed that my wattage was dropping because actually I was dropping weight because I wanted to climb more effectively, as people on bicycles will know about. Climbing is really important.
Hello, welcome to Sweet Liberation. We are excited about today's episode because we're going to be talking about something we kind of accidentally come across. Not really come across, but we've accidentally ended up right in the middle of this without realising it.
It was an accident, definite.
Biohacking.
Yes, biohacking. Great subject. Quite a hot topic on the internet.
It's a really hot topic on the internet. It's a controversial topic, and we're going to talk today about our journey into this, how we accidentally found ourselves to be biohackers.
Yes.
And really all the things that have worked for us, what hasn't worked, and what it means for us.
Yes, absolutely. And let me introduce you. You're Nabila.
And you're Luke.
Right.
So yes,
thank you for joining us.
So thank you for joining us on this episode of Sweet Liberation today. And as I said, we're going to be discussing all things biohacking and our journey to it. So we're accidental biohackers.
We are. Should we quickly have a recap on what biohacking is in case? And it's a new
thing. So my understanding of this, and then you can say your understanding of it, is a whole entire movement of people, experts and non-experts, enthusiasts and people who are just observing this, who want to find a way to kind of optimize their health through all of these techniques: optimal nutrition, supplementation, meditation, sleep, exercise, movement, mindfulness, like entire package of things, right? To try to optimize their health. And some people's end goal in this is to improve or increase our lifespan or improve our lifespan. Everybody seems to have a different reason for doing it or what their claims are. It's controversial. Yeah. So what do you understand of biohacking?
My view on biohacking is that it's a term that we use, and it's about making little adjustments in your life that are going to make a big difference to you. And we all have different goals with our health and even how long we live, as you just said. But I think for me, my biohacking journey is all about sort of that youthfulness and the energy that I've got from biohacking. That's my big win. And some of the little small changes that we have made, we've then suddenly found, wow, these are all compounding. They're compounding because it's a lot of little things.
A lot of little things. So on the biohacking, so really it is about hacking our biology, right? Yes. This is the idea of it, is hacking our biology, finding things that will work for you to improve, or even in some people claim extend your life, but certainly improve your life, not necessarily expectancy, but quality.
Yes.
Making life better. So that's how we've understood it.
Yes.
And we come into this by cutting out sugar and then going, oh my goodness, we'll cut out sugar and we can replace sugar and still have treats, blah, blah, blah. So we've gone into it from this through a product business, through recommending recipes and creating a community around this. But then we found ourselves right in the middle of doing all of these things to improve our health. And tell us about you. Tell the listeners and the viewers about your journey. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, so a little bit about me. I mean, I can seriously geek out on things, and I'm a keen cyclist. And so one of the things that Sky Team, coined was this term, aggregation of marginal gains. Ooh. And in the cycling world, that's all about doing crazy things that can make a difference. The type of oil that you might put on your bicycle chain, how much air you put in your tires, the sort of funny pointy hats that you might wear for aerodynamic purposes.
Teeny
and it's all of these things that added together make up a huge difference. And so for me, when I sort of embarked on this journey and learned about the various things, I mean, I've had some fails. Let me tell you quickly about those. I haven't done regular exercise, and that is one of the things, a part of my biohacking journey. I bought a plunge pool that they say, take that down to 10 degrees. Well, I haven't yet been brave enough to put ice into this little plunge pool.
How long have you had it?
I've had it for a couple of months, and it's this little thing I paid about £40 for on Amazon, and it's basically it's a barrel that you jump in first thing in the morning.
Can't you just have a cold shower, Luke?
And you can have a cold shower. They say 3 minutes to 5 minutes. Now, what does it do? Well, the little thing it does on this one is it activates the free radicals that go running around your body, gobbling up any bad stuff that causes all sorts of bad things in your body. So that's what I understand that little element to mean. Other things, I mean, try different vitamins, vitamin supplements. Sometimes these have been added with some sweeteners like stevia, and so again,
Tell us your story though. Your story, because you have a background in you've been an athlete. Tell us, you were an ice hockey player.
Oh, right. Going back to being a teenager. Oh yeah, being a teenager. Well, yeah, I've always had an active lifestyle, and the funny thing is with being active is that various things.
What were you
as
doing?
a racing cyclist, I have done, I played ice hockey for Richmond back in the day. I then went on to motor racing. And again, there's a lot of all motor racing drivers at a high level will be biohacking because that's what they've always done for many, many years. There's a lot of do's and don'ts around that sport, which people probably wouldn't even realize because you think all you do with motor racing is just keep turning left and you end up going around the circuit. But
so you were, you were competitive motor race.
Yeah, competitive motor racing, also competitive aerobatic pilot. So there's a lot of things.
Champion.
Well, yeah, I've won on quite a lot of competitions in aerobatics, which is an unusual sport.
A very dangerous sport.
No, not dangerous. It's only dangerous if you hit the ground. So the thing is that, so that side of things. But yeah, very keen sportsman and always wanted to be very active, always enjoyed having an active lifestyle and being, and trying to keep a bit of a watchful eye on, on not eating the wrong things.
So focus. So love a high octane person. Would that describe you?
Yeah, high octane.
High octane.
Yeah.
Like doing sort of sport and competitive activities. Enjoy that, and then come into this kind of mindset of cleaning up things in the nutrition and starting with sugar. So that's kind of our segue into.
Because I had 5 sugars when I was going through a drive-through, and I was having 5 sugars in coffee, and you said you got to cut that out.
And then
all the negative effects.
And then we discovered, you discovered the ultimate sugar replacement, which we are very passionate about, but that was just the start of this journey. And then you start geeking out. So tell us your geeking out process. How did this, what have you geeked out on?
Well, what happens is it's this, you start having this sort of quest for knowledge, don't you? When you start embarking on a journey, you say, oh, I'd like to know more about those things. And, we've watched various podcasts and things on YouTube talking about the sort of the biohacking and the things about
Give us examples.
Longevity in terms of the
different specific ones that you are very interested in.
Oh, well,
you talk about plunge pools. So how did you get into that?
Yes, well, that was because the podcast that I watched, and in fact, actually one of the channels on YouTube, it was actually a gentleman by the name of Gary Brecker, and Gary Brecker talked about the 3-minute plunge and all of the good things that happen around that, obviously. And Gary has this thing that started me off as well, because it was so easy, and I'm all about making things easy. And one of the things that a lot of us do, 1st of January, we all say, let's start the new year with a fitness campaign or something, but often it's hard to maintain simply because it's quite difficult to do, right? And other life gets in the way. But actually, one of Gary Brecker's principles is brilliant, which is the 30-30-30 method, and that is within 30 minutes of getting up, you have 30 grams of protein, and you have 30 minutes of gentle exercise. That could be
walking.
You did it? Yeah, I did that. I've been doing that pretty much all year.
And how did it? What was the results?
I've lots more energy. I lost, and one of the things Gary does challenge people to is to try this, because he said within a month you'll drop the fat off your belly. Yeah, I did. Yeah, Gary is right.
You look ripped.
Yeah, I did. I did lose. I lost a lot of that belly fat, and I didn't really know where it went because I didn't know why it gone. But then actually I remembered that I did the 30-30-30 thing. So that was easy to do.
Where it went, you lost it. You lost it and you didn't know where it went.
That's right. I lost it all. It waved goodbye, and then I hadn't really twigged why that had happened, because I hadn't made any different changes. I'd still been having some of the sort of takeouts and things, and,
oh my God,
and not really watching the diet particularly carefully.
Yeah.
But it was that start in the morning that gives you that 30 grams. And I'd say to anyone, grab a protein shake, because that's a really quick and easy way to get 30 grams of protein in you, because that's going to be easier than, say, eating half a dozen eggs every day. That's a lot harder to do. It takes a lot longer. So
that was your segue. So you started off with cutting out sugar, obviously, cleaning up your diet, and then like going on YouTube. Like loads of people get lots of information from YouTube.
YouTube is good
and bad and ugly out there.
Yeah.
Kind of, I say they say buyer beware, don't they? On people buying secondhand things, but you have to be careful what you're looking for and the information that you get. So shall I say my journey into this?
Please do.
So I basically don't really know about the term biohacking until quite recently, and I am a healthcare professional, so I am really careful. I'm very traditional about taking advice from people about health. I don't dole out health advice to people unless it's in my healthcare practice. I'm very, very careful about these things. I share my experiences, but I let people kind of do their own research. So that's very important. So I'm really reluctant to do anything unless I've really looked into it, done my due diligence, and then I might just try it for a sense. Okay, what is the reason I'm going to try this thing? I'm going to try this thing because, for instance, cutting out sugar and cleaning up my diet. Well, is there going to be any harm in cutting out ultra processed foods? No. Okay, shall I try doing it? Yeah. Okay, so basically tick box. Does it cause harm? No, it doesn't cause harm. Okay, try it, give it a go. And then so cleaning up my diet. Okay, get rid of sugar. Is it going to cause any harm in my health? No. Should I give it a try? Yeah, give it a try. Bit of movement and exercise. All of these things are things I've dabbled in over the years and done. And I think I've told my story on this podcast before that I was taking at some point in I suffer from an autoimmune disease. So I was taking immunosuppressant drugs. That's to dampen down the immune response, because an overactive immune system is what I suffer from, and it starts doing all sorts of weird things. So I was on steroids and all sorts of things, including some weekly chemotherapy drug that suppresses the immune system. So doing all of that, and then I wanted to have a baby. So I had my consultant's like, okay, you need to come off all the drugs, and I was like, oh God, that's going to be really bad. And so the only thing I had that I could do to improve my health was to actually look at my lifestyle. And I cut out sugar, and I went on what I found to be really good for me was a paleo diet approach, which was just cutting out the processed stuff, eating really good greens, vegetables, fruit, and high quality lean protein. That really worked for me, and I felt great, and I was able to have a baby. So that was fantastic. Without any medication. I was really good. So I knew that sort of thing worked for me anyway, because I tried it once before. And then obviously my journey into Zukr and, the company that we run and all of these things were really based on the fact that, I cut out sugar and the impact that had on my health. So I didn't realize all of these things. And I also practice meditation. I've been doing that for the last maybe 5 or 6 years. I'm quite a spiritual person, so I was tapped into these sort of meditative tools for many decades, and they've always worked for me, and I felt really good on them. I did not know that all of these things put together, nutrition, mindfulness, meditation, as a package, biohacking. Did you realise?
I didn't know.
I didn't realise.
It's got a label called biohacking.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, well, this is news to me. Okay, so what are we doing? But there's a bit of controversy out there about even the terminology biohacking. And I think it's a great marketing term, just as a kind of a catch-all umbrella for all of these things that you could do to help yourself get into best shape, optimal health, and feel great. So debunking it.
Oh, the other thing, of course, that we've done as well, all these extra little bolt-ons you get into, is the DNA test.
Yes, so we talked about that in our last episode, and yeah, we'll talk about that in a moment, because that's one of the things that's been really interesting. So we got into this whole thing by accident, really, just because I wanted to improve my health, and by the way, I lost a bit of weight and all this kind of thing, and this journey that I've been on has been the longest I've ever sustained something for, because the gains have been so good that there's just no point going back to my old lifestyle. So it's been a real incentive to keep going. And so that's the thing. And you go again, do the same as most people, go on Google, go, how can I improve my dental health? This is another thing we've been doing. How can I have better dental health? And I'll be looking at really good evidence-based scientific approaches to improve gum health, dental health. I'm like, I want to keep my teeth for the rest of my life. I don't want to have to go to the dentist again. And we've been like, how can I improve my dental health? And oh wow, there's a solution for that out there, looking into it, like making sure it's scientifically robust, and go, yeah, I'll give that a go. Will it hurt me? No, it won't. Okay, try it. And it's worked. Like, oh, what else could I do? Improve your skin. And like, okay, what else can I do? And like, eat these things, do these things. And you found it. So we've been like adding little supplements here and there. And it's like, oh my God, methods to like improve your health. And I was talking about oral health. That was one thing that we looked at. Your mental health and well-being, obviously meditation, high performance in terms of high performance tools for your professional life, improving your professional life, your goals, your personal goals. We'll be doing that. Personal development. So we'll be doing that. That's been happening for years, right? What else? Journaling, been doing that. What else?
A little bit of exercise, trying to get out, walks, gentle walks. Try those that go somewhere. I park the car further away from the supermarket entrance.
You get your 10,000 steps.
I try and get my 10,000 steps in, or go out, have fun, go dancing, do that with your friends.
Well, I have my kitchen discos. Regular kitchen discos, and I suffer from a condition where it's prevented me from doing long walks and things like that for many, many years. I'm starting to feel better, so I can do a little bit of that now. But moving in the kitchen, I can still do that. It's been great. What else?
Trying to look at, then you start getting motivated around cutting out certain things in your diet, I think. And I am eating fewer biscuits now. I used to eat, I'd eat a packet of biscuits a day. So, I've started to not do that as much, and they're just a treat now, which is good.
Occasionally.
Occasionally. Same with pasta and wheat. I'm one of the blood types that make wheat always sends me to sleep in the afternoon. I get that real 2:00 post lunch, post sandwich snooze fest going on. So cut that out. So again, more time. Also getting by on less sleep. I used to be a sort of 9-hour, 10-hour a day person that needed.
But you automatically wake up earlier now.
Wake up earlier. I've got more time because I am waking up, and I have probably now this year having 3 hours, which is an awful lot of time. 3 hours 3 hours less sleep per day.
And that's not a problem.
And not feeling tired, feeling energized.
Most people would hear that and feel a royal panic attack. They'd be like, oh my God, you must be suffering insomnia. But that's not the case. You go to bed when you're tired.
I'm happy with 7 hours sleep. I get straight out and then up and out and doing stuff.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. That's a win for sure. And that's from all of the things that you're combining. It's like aggregated gains.
It's the aggregated gains. It's all the small gains, yes.
All the small gains. And for me, that's been my win. So my wins have been better quality sleep, better oral health. I've been doing lots of things to improve my oral health. I'll continue on this path because I want to keep my teeth. More hair. More hair, because I was losing my hair. I don't lose my hair a lot, but I would get times when my autoimmunity was really flaring, and then I'd just get like bits, chunks of hair would fall into the bath, and then it would sort of grow back. So my hair is just a lot bigger and thicker, big hair again. And then so hair, skin, improving skin. And I would say that overall the look, although I didn't go into it for this reason, but people saying that I look younger, which is really nice.
Well, the lady in the health food shop said you had that collagen look.
That means
you were like,
you're glowing. She said I was glowing. So I, all of these things I've been doing, and they'll be like, what about now I've kind of achieved these things? I started doing some supplementation, which we both kind of embarked on that last year. And we've been sort of tweaking that, and it's been working really well for us. We don't take the same supplements, slightly different, tailored for each one of us.
Absolutely. There's my version, your version. And again, the person that we've drawn and watched on that is David Sinclair.
Yes, so Dr. David Sinclair's been an inspiration. Gary Brecker's also been an inspiration.
Dave Asprey
he's really controversial as well, but so is Gary Brecker. I think anyone who's making a a dent in the scientific community and shaking things up a bit is always going to be a bit controversial, and I like that. I don't necessarily follow people like in a kind of robotic style. I want to find out what their approach is and then go away and see how does that make sense for me? Is it safe for me to do, etc.?
Mm.
So, but yeah, I love Dr. David Sinclair. He's been fantastic. I'd love to interview him on this show.
Yes,
That would be
that'd be good.
amazing.
Yeah.
And the thing that he talks about is NMN supplementation.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember how to pronounce it, but I can't even remember.
Well,
I have to see.
let
me Google it.
N for Nova,
NMN.
N for November,
Yeah.
M for Mike, N for November.
Let me see if I can remember.
And
how
that
to
is one
say
of the things that,
he talks about. He's done a lot of research about
yes,
it.
he has.
And I think we got into him actually by reading Tony Robbins' book. There was a book that you had talked about, Tony Robbins, and he was actually talking about Dr. David Sinclair's research on extending life and life quality.
He also did a podcast as well, which I saw with, I think, Ed Milet.
Yes.
And that was a really interesting.
I can say it now. I Googled it live on this show. Here we go. Nicotinamide mononucleotide. NMN. Nicotinamide mononucleotide.
Yeah.
I think I can remember it.
N for November, M for mother, N for November.
Nicotinamide mononucleotide. Okay, so we did a little bit of research about that. I thought, well, let me try. It's the first supplement I've taken other than what's been prescribed by a GP. Checked that it was safe for me to take. Obviously, always do that. And immediately felt so much energy.
And it transpires that it's actually only a B vitamin, right?
It's one of the B vitamin families, but I felt so good. So I thought maybe it was just coincidence or maybe a placebo effect, because I'm always kind of thinking about these things in a critical way, thinking, well, let's see, give it a bit longer. And then I stopped taking it maybe for a few days, and I've definitely felt a dip in the energy compared to the days where I take it. So now it is on my coffee and NMN in the morning. I have to have it. But it's certainly, I've been on it now for 9 months or 10 months I've been on it since November. 10 months, and I definitely feel that I will continue unless I read or be told by my doctor that I shouldn't take it, but I certainly feel that I've benefited from it on top of the things that I take, which are a hormone replacement that I take because of my age group. But I felt so much better on it. What about you?
Yeah, I have, and I've noticed that actually over the last 10 months that in fact it's not one of those things that you noticed, it might take a couple of weeks to start working or getting into your system, but actually it's almost, for me, and I don't know again if this is placebo, but it feels like there's an incremental effect.
For sure.
It's not just you're on it and you're feeling, I've got a bit more energy. It feels that it is keeping going. And the sort of energy and things that are easier. And for me, one of the things I have always struggled with is tendonitis. And at my age, finding that sports injuries were taking months to repair. I had a shoulder
my shoulder's gone as well.
You had the same
thing.
Same. We had an impingement, and there was a nerve trapped in the joint of the shoulder. Now my shoulder clicks a bit, but the thing is, that's because when I was doing a lot of wakeboarding and things, when you're holding on to it, a bit like water skiing, your whole body is being
almost dislocating.
So you're pulling, you're ripping all of these muscles quite a lot. And I used to do that in gymnastics as well on the rings, where you can do a dislocation or an inlocation type maneuver on the rings. And again, if you get that wrong, you just, you pop
rip
your
the
shoulder.
Whole thing out.
So you've got to be really careful about that. But the M&M has helped with, it seems as if it's helped with the repair a lot quicker.
I had a shoulder impingement. Again, I'm not making any health claims here, just in case people are going, my God, they're claiming.
Right?
No, this is just anecdote. I'm just sharing what happened coincidentally at the same time that I started taking the NMN. So I started taking it, and within a week, my shoulder, I'd had an impinged shoulder for 2 years, and it was so painful. I couldn't actually sleep on that side sometimes, and I'll be trying to stretch. I've been to the osteopath, got it, sort of looked at, made sure that there was nothing, sort of like a deeper injury, got that all aligned, and it was so painful. And what had happened is I'd overstretched and I'd pulled it out, and then it had impinged. And so I was doing a lot of exercises to get the impingement to correct itself, but it would correct itself for an hour or two, and then it would go back, and it was really painful. Anyway, so that would keep me awake at night sometimes. And then within about a week or two, I don't know why, it disappeared, and that was a really weird. And we've got the mirrored shoulder, so it was your right and my left, and extremely painful. And now I don't have the shoulder pain. which is really
No,
interesting.
I mean,
I
I've
don't
noticed
know
that.
if it's coincidence or whether it's just helping my body to repair better.
Mm,
But my family, and the women in my family, have problems with their shoulders, and then after a certain age can't lift their shoulders.
mm,
So I really was keen to not have that, and if I
yeah.
can avoid having
And
that.
I found as well, DOMS, if anybody is a keen athlete or in the gym a lot, the delayed onset muscle soreness, again, this I find that's not happening now.
No.
I don't know why. I don't know. There's something about it that's helping. But again, anecdotal. Give it a go if you're interested and see if how it works for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, it has helped, but yes. So supplementation has had these like subtle and sometimes we think maybe profound effects, but it could be like an aggregation of the fact that we're eating really
Mm,
well, the fact that we're giving ourselves, topping ourselves up with a little bit of supplementation
mm,
on top of, to make sure that we've got all the micronutrients there,
yeah.
and then a lifestyle. What's been the impact on your lifestyle overall? Are you feeling happier, more focused? Like, what are the
Yes,
things?
I think it's the focus, it's focus and drive, and actually being clear headed as well. I mean, that's probably lack of sugar because you know people talk about a brain fog around sugar. So actually, reducing carbohydrate has helped be focused.
Yeah.
Going again, that takes us back, doesn't it, to the sort of conversations about being cavemen and women,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
being hyper focused on something. And I think that is something that has helped me with that. And yeah, being very, very focused on getting things done.
Yeah, so I for sure, for me, I think the thing that I feel that I'm more mindful and more able to to focus on
Mm,
tasks that I need to focus on, to know, to be more self-aware of my emotional state so that I can name my feelings a lot more easily, or at least tell someone, right now is not a good time to talk to me because I'm feeling dysregulated or I'm feeling anxious. To be able to say that out loud is really helpful to sort of be in a much more collaborative environment with people that you work with, live with, etc. Even your children, I'm able to vocalize that to my little one and say, oh, you know, I'm a little bit such and such right now. Mummy is doing such and such. I'm a little bit stressed for a few minutes, but don't worry, Mummy will be fine in a minute. It's only because such and such is called and I've had to do this, but I'll be fine. So that my little one doesn't feel it's her fault. You know, if Mummy, you can have a bad day, can't
mm,
you? But
yeah.
I'm more able to name my feelings, and I think that's through the entire process, like this
Mm,
collaborative process of
mm,
biohacking,
mm,
eating well, and the mindfulness and the meditation and the high performance tools that we use when we need to tap into them, the
mm,
personal
mm,
development, the intermittent fasting. I love the intermittent fasting. I think that's my thing
mm,
that has kept my weight off, and it just feels really effortless. What about for
yeah.
you?
Yes, I mean I've done it in a. I did used to do intermittent fasting when I was racing as a bicycle, but I found that actually the problem with the intermittent fasting for me was it was so effective at dropping weight
Ooh,
that it was actually a bit of a problem with regard to power output. I noticed that because I had a power meter on my bicycle, and I noticed that my wattage was dropping
yeah,
because actually I was dropping weight because I wanted to climb more effectively, as people on bicycles will know all about. Climbing is really important, but yeah, the certainly the 5-2 that I was doing at the time,
yeah. You were doing the
I
Michael
the
Mosley.
Michael Mosley 5-2, which is for men 500 calories on the day that you're fasting. For women, it's 400. But you know, I was always doing around 4 to 500 and doing that 2 times a week. So just picking say a Tuesday and a Thursday, and then eating whatever I wanted for the rest of the time. But I was dropping weight really fast.
Interesting.
And I got down to about in Imperial 11 stone 2. I don't know what that is in terms
That's
of
72 kilos,
about
something like
72 kilos, and my
that.
power output was severely impinged by that. So if you're going to embark on the 5-2, be aware that you might drop a lot more weight
And
than
muscle.
you muscle. You'll drop muscle as well as
And that's the
fat.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, it's been really interesting because it's been this process of doing this podcast, of
Mm,
discovering all of these things for ourselves, has meant we've been having much more, I would say, interesting conversations with people in our own close network. And one of the things I've just found out recently, which was really amazing, we had Dr. Frank Sabatino,
mm,
who is a personal friend of ours, one of our heroes. We adore him. And I've just found out recently that on his fasting program that he does for people, and he takes people on a retreat and he does a fasting retreat with them, and it's all very controlled under clinical sort of supervision. He does water fasts, but that he makes the people lie down, and on the fasting, during the fast, they do very, very little. And it's that inactivity that stops them losing muscle, and then in doing so, they lose fat. And I was like, oh, that's genius. Of course, if you're moving around and fasting, the last thing your body's going to get rid of is the fat, by the way, because it doesn't want to get rid of the stuff stored in the cupboard. It'll want to get rid of the things that, to make sure that you're okay if you're in a famine. It gets rid of the fat last, because that is your storage of energy. So it will get rid of your muscle first. So that's probably what you were finding out. And in the conversation I've recently had, I found out that Dr. Frank Sabatino in his retreats makes sure that the people are resting or doing very, very gentle movements. We definitely have to have him back and talk about that, because I found as well with the fasting that I've done in the past, I just think, I've lost weight, but the belly's still there.
Sure. Okay.
So maybe we'll have to try one of the fasting retreats with him. I'd love to do that.
Yes, I like the idea of having lying down all day.
Apparently, you're not allowed digital devices with Dr. Frank.
No digital device either.
That's what the word on the street says. That would be hard, but yeah, very meditative things.
Good.
But yeah, so all of these things I did not realize fall under the umbrella of biohacking. I was like, there must be a word for this, what we're doing, all of these things, and it is biohacking. And then I've got all of this kind of, I do follow some very, I would say, orthodox doctors out there that are more straight down the line, and I would say I'll a little bit more fall into that category, because I'm having worked in the national healthcare system in the UK, you kind of have to do things by the book, so you have to follow the rules and regulations, and do things that are evidence-based. So I do follow a couple of influencer doctors that are trying to debunk a lot of things, and they certainly say, biohacking, anyone that claims to be biohacking, you need to be doubtful of what they're saying. And I just think you are being left behind by your idea of your rigid way of thinking, that it basically invalidates any other way.
Yeah.
And I think what the good and the bad of this is that there's some really funky things that some biohackers say that they're doing out there that I certainly would not be doing myself, and it's up to people to make their own minds up. And then there's other stuff which is just sensible. It's not really biohacking. It's just like, eat a sensible whole food diet. Well, that's not breaking news, is it?
No. A little bit of exercise.
Little bit.
20 minutes
do some
of
movement
walking.
Every day.
Move around a bit.
Yeah. Clean up your diet. Don't eat all the junk. I mean, it's just sensible.
That's the first part of biohacking.
Exactly. Oh, there you go.
That's where to start.
That's the foundation, and then it opens up so much, because I think you feel so much better overall. Now I'm seeing such a big gap between me and some of my peers in terms of the energy. They will just comment and say, what are you doing to have so much energy? I think you're getting the same with your peers.
Yeah, definitely. And yes, and people saying to me, how you got so much energy, when a lot of people are, as they get sort of into their middle age part of their life, are finding that the energy levels are reducing. It's probably because they're eating too much carbohydrate. If you're going to have a pizza, the next day you're probably going to be quite tired. For an evening meal. But I mean, I think that's one of the things that is really important, is to is this journey will, if it gives you more energy, and then people start saying, wow, whatever you guys are doing, I want to be doing.
I want to be doing it.
And that's almost the purpose of this podcast today, isn't it? Is to try and share the things that we've been doing, because people are saying to us, you guys are doing something right, because you've got more energy, you look more vibrant, you don't, you look like people 20 years younger than you.
Right.
And we're going, oh, did we? And it's only really when people are saying that, and more and more people say it, that you then say, well, actually, whatever we're doing,
it's not just one person saying
it's right. Yeah, we've got to be doing something right and sharing it.
Quite frankly, a lady of my age, I'll take all the compliments. I'll be okay with it. But I've got to say, the thing that really, going back to longevity and life quality is something that I'm particularly interested in. I'm not that interested in necessarily extending my life, but I certainly am interested in staying as well as I can for the longest period of time that I can. So if I could do anything to help myself to be well, then I'm going to do it, because I'd say the first biohacker, the ultimate biohacker in my family was my granny.
Yeah.
My grandma, we talked about her in the last episode, riding a horse aged 82 or something like that. We've got a video of her, and she's just absolutely magnificent. And you just look at her and she's just beautiful. And the first thing she would always do is look at what she's eating.
Yeah.
And do things in moderation, take care of her sleep. So we did talk about that last time, but she's my inspiration. So who's your inspiration?
Oh, good question. My inspiration for biohacking. Well, actually, I would
Your
say
role
that,
model.
yeah, I mean, my role model for this biohacking. Well, I can only really refer back to the people that are biohacking themselves. And I would say that the people that are actually taking action and doing it, people like Gary Brecker, actually.
You like him, don't you?
I like him because he's doing it himself. You know, he takes his shoes and socks off and he goes and stands out on the grass and he does his breathing exercises every day, and, you know, grounds out with those things. We haven't even spoken about this, about the energy that's within the earth and how often we actually kick off our shoes and socks and go and stand on soil or on the beach and actually, you know, ground ourselves, things like that. And so I guess a lot of the things he does, they're so simple but so worth doing. And so I'd say he's my inspiration. Yeah,
he's your inspiration. Yeah, I really like Gary, and I think I would say because of his scientific background, I really like him. And I also like Dr. David Sinclair, who isn't a physician, and neither is Gary. They're both very you know, they're very upfront that they don't give health advice to people in as much as they don't have patients, they don't have a license to practice medicine. However, they share their insights, they share the research, and then they work with teams as well that do, I mean, particularly Gary, I think he has a team of medics and nurses and people like that that he works with that do actually do the patient work. But you know, the information that he provides is actually really, really great. And I think, you know, at the end of the day, the outcome and the output should be sensible eating, movement, good sleep, good nutrition, good mindset, healthy mindset, positive thinking, how that impacts. All of these things are just sensible things. And Dr. Sinclair as well, I mean, he's an absolute wealth of information, doesn't he, in terms of the research that he's done around you know, longevity and how to improve people's you know, health span in their later years of life. So I think both of them have made great contributions to at least the conversations that people are having, and that's what we want to have an impact on.
Yeah, and I think also we haven't even mentioned Bob Proctor. I mean, talking about frequency. And the thing is with that is that, again, looking at some of the things that Bob talks about and the importance of things like, you know, your future and looking in and a bit of goal setting.
Goal setting, yes.
And it's all part of biohacking in some ways.
I think so, because it's not just about your physical, your body and your fitness and your health. It's actually about having a happy, healthy lifestyle that is fulfilling, you know. And if you are somebody who is now, you know, you've had a mindset shift and you're like, oh my gosh, I can achieve so much more. Why don't let me try and do another thing. And then after that one thing you've achieved, you're like, smash that. That's awesome. What else can I do? And you're like, set another goal and another goal. And then you start to realize, wow, I'm actually so powerful. I can envisage and envision whatever I want to achieve. I can make these outlandish goals and go for them. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen? That you don't achieve them, but you've had all these amazing experiences on the way, which is what's happened with us.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing we haven't really touched on as well is actually, you know, manifestation. And you know, there's another topic, and again, we could talk about this for a while. And it's really been, have fun with this, because have fun with thinking about, you know, a bit of doing your own little internal goal setting workshop. Think about the things that you want to do and that you're looking forward to. I mentioned the manifestation because the manifestation is a bit like the goal setting, because you can actually be, you know, playing with that manifestation a little bit.
All about frequency and energy.
What would happen if, or, you know, and imagining. I mean, we were in Spain, and in fact, wanted a parking space, and we had two. And I put that down to the fact that you were manifesting it and I was manifesting it, and that's why we had two parking spaces suddenly appear.
I think so.
Isn't that bizarre?
Some people would think it's woo-woo
Yeah.
nonsense, but
Try it.
what's the worst that can happen?
Try
You
it.
go, do you know what? If I get myself into a really good state of mind and my frequency, my energy, you can tell when somebody's good energy and somebody's bad energy, right? You can just tell. They walk into the room and you're like, oh, bad energy. Somebody else walks into the room and like, oh my God, this person's awesome. They haven't even opened their mouth yet. They just got good energy. So you think, well, I can impact my own energy and my own frequency. Let's give it a go. Let's be in a really good mindset, really lean into this day. I would love it if today was just a wonderful day. And wouldn't it be wonderful if we could find all the parking spaces that we want today and see and meet amazing people? And you go, I wonder what would happen if, and you just go into it with this playful attitude. And those days are just, you smash those days. They're the best days.
There was a funny story about, there was a funny story when you walked into a shop and asked for a bottle. And then the man said, well, we don't have any bottles and we don't sell any bottles. But guess what? There's one that's sat over there that's been there for a few months. You can have that one.
I know.
Do you remember?
It's just really amazing things
weird.
and meeting really amazing people and just going into things with a much more open and playful attitude. It's like, what would happen if I would love today to be a wonderful day? Should we just see what happens and then just let the day be playful with the day where you don't necessarily, you have a goal of having a wonderful day or going to a place, but you don't micromanage it. You just have a day or two every now and then where you just let the flow happen and just be open to what happens that day, and that anything that happens that day is going to be wonderful. Those days, we had a day like that last week.
On Friday.
It was on Friday, which was just amazing. And I think that's all biohacking as well, because, you know, the things just open up and it's mindset and wellness when you are literally walking and you are living that amazing life for a day, immersing yourself in that and going, I'm going to make sure my energy is really good today. I wonder what could happen if, let's be playful. And then just those days are just the best.
Yeah.
The best. So those are our takeaways from biohacking. We want to hear your stories. Have you got any amazing biohacking stories? Do you think it's great? What do you think? Is it controversial? Is it nonsense? Do you get what we're saying? Do you think what we're thinking, what we are describing as biohacking is biohacking? Is that your definition of it? Do you have another definition of it? We definitely want to hear your stories, your ideas, and also your wins. Share your wins with us, whether it's nutrition, it could be exercise, it could be a combination of things.
Let us know what you're doing, where you're going to start, and if you're going to try any of these things.
Or are you out there manifesting like a beast? Are you into that as well? So, because we were skeptical about it, but we are totally all into all of it now. Life is just getting better and better the more we lean in. So we'd love to hear your stories, and of course, like and subscribe to our podcast so you can get all of our latest information, and make sure that you share this video with your friends. We want to hear all your stories. Be part of our community, hit the like and subscribe button, and make sure that you engage and comment on this video. So with that said, we'll love you and leave you for this week's episode of Sweet Liberation, where we have discussed everything to do with biohacking. And we definitely want to hear your comments. We can't wait to see you next time. Looking forward to it, aren't we, Luke?
Very much. We've got some exciting guests coming up, haven't we?
Definitely can't wait to come back next time for the next episode of Sweet Liberation. Bye for now.
Bye for now.